You ever get that feeling that you're your own worst enemy? That the single biggest thing standing between you and the life you want is, well, you? That's the really powerful idea at the core of Brianna Wiest's work, The Mountain is You. Just let that sink in for a second. That feeling of being stuck, that huge, impossible challenge you see looming in front of you, the book's big idea is that it's not some external thing you have to fight. That mountain we're all trying to climb is really just a mirror, showing us what's going on inside. And come on, we've all been there, right? It's that maddening feeling where you know exactly what you should be doing, you might even really want to do it, but you just can't. You're frozen. It feels like you're actively working against yourself, and the craziest part is you don't even know why. So this gets us to the absolute heart of the argument. If you look at where you are right now, and then you look at where you want to be, and there's this huge gap between them, and every step forward feels like a battle, there's a reason for that. There's this invisible force at play, and that force is self-sabotage. All right, so let's dive right into the why, because honestly, understanding self-sabotage is the first real step to beating it. And I'll tell you right now, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. So typically we blame ourselves, right? We say things like, oh, I just have no willpower, or I'm not confident enough. But the book tells us to stop and dig a little deeper. It turns out these behaviors aren't flaws at all. They're actually a misguided, but kind of smart attempt by our subconscious to fulfill a need that's not being met. And this definition, it's a total game changer. The key word here is intelligent. Think about that. Your self-sabotage isn't a bug in your system, it's a feature. It's a program that's running perfectly to meet some kind of deep-seated need. The only problem is, the way it's doing it is ultimately destroying things. Now, I know this can sound a little abstract, so let's ground it with a really powerful real-world example from the book. And it's about someone you've definitely heard of. So get this. When the famous psychologist Carl Jung was just a kid, he absolutely despised going to school. Then, after a little fall where he hit his head, he starts having these mysterious fainting spells that, surprise, surprise, kept him home from school. His subconscious mind basically found a brilliant, if destructive, loophole. Fainting solved his problem. His self-sabotaging behavior was actually serving a very real purpose for him at the time. Okay, so if self-sabotage is really just a clumsy attempt to meet a core need, the next logical question is, what are those needs? This is where we start to really dig beneath the surface of our own actions. Here's a really key distinction the book makes. The behaviors we actually see, the procrastination, the anxiety, the self-doubt, those are just the symptoms. The book calls these our commitments, but really they're just a big cover-up for our true unfulfilled core needs hiding underneath. This basically gives us a map from the symptom to the root cause. For instance, a constant need for control isn't just a personality quirk. It often comes from a deep, deep need to feel safe and to learn how to trust. Or someone who keeps messing up great opportunities, maybe they're actually being driven by a hidden desire for independence, for autonomy. It's all about looking past the behavior and finding the need that's driving it. Okay, so we've got the what and the why of self-sabotage down. Now for the most important part, the how. How do we actually start climbing our own personal mountain? Well, the book suggests we need to pack the right climbing gear. And this gear comes in a 3-part toolkit. First, we need radical accountability. Second, we have to harness the incredible power of micro-shifts. And third, we have to master the absolute game-changing skill of disconnecting our actions from our feelings. So this first tool, radical accountability, basically means we stop making excuses, period. We just state the problem as it is without blaming anyone else or even ourselves. And this isn't about shame, it's the ultimate act of self-love. It's the moment you powerfully declare that you deserve a much better life than the one you've been putting up with. Next up, we have the power of micro-shifts. You know, we're all conditioned to wait for that lightning bolt of inspiration, that one aha moment that's going to change everything. The book argues that's a complete fantasy. Real, lasting change doesn't come from some massive breakthrough. It comes from the tiny, consistent, almost invisible shifts we make every single day. To really get your head around how powerful these tiny changes are, let me ask you something. Imagine you have 2 choices. Option A, you get $1 million, tax-free right now. Or option B, You get a single penny, but it doubles in value every day for 31 days. That $1 million sounds pretty amazing, doesn't it? It's really tempting. But that single penny, through the incredible power of compounding, becomes over $10 million. This is the magic of microshifts, your small daily actions, reading just one more page, meditating for 5 minutes, choosing water instead of soda. They all compound in the exact same way, creating these massive, transformative results over time. And that brings us to our third and final piece of climbing gear. This one might be the most challenging because it requires us to completely rewire how we think about motivation itself. You see, most of us have it completely backwards. We wait to feel motivated before we take action. The book insists we have to act first, no matter how we feel. Motivation isn't some spark that hits you out of the blue. It's a fire you build yourself with the kindling of your own actions. Action builds momentum, and that momentum creates the very feeling you were waiting for all along. So, after all this work, the digging, the understanding, the daily practice with these tools, what's the ultimate reward? What does the world actually look like from the summit of your own mountain? And this is where we find the true purpose of the whole journey. The goal was never just to solve your problems or fix yourself. The real prize is the person you become in the process of learning to climb. The struggle itself is what forges you into someone new. This is a powerful and maybe even a little uncomfortable truth. Real transformation requires sacrifice. It's going to cost you your old comfort zone, your familiar excuses, and maybe even relationships that were built around the person you used to be. But what you get in exchange is a life that is authentically, deeply, and powerfully your own. So the mountain is you, and it's waiting. The only real question left is the one it's asking you. Who will you become when you finally decide to climb?